Schnaggle Fraggle.
Oh.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 34 of The Doctor and the Dork. Bet you weren't expecting that. This is Frank here with our co-hostess Olivia.
Snaggle Fraggle.
Snaggle Fraggle.
Have you ever watched the show Fraggle Rock?
No.
Down a Fraggle Rock.
No, I was thinking
Maybe
of...
we can use that for our intro music and stuff.
What was the guy's name from...
Scooby-Doo?
No, it was a Cartoon Network show, but
Frodo?
it was... No, it was Chowder.
Bravo?
No, Chowder. They had the big... Really? You never saw that show?
No, I didn't really like Cartoon. Cartoon Network was only in desperate times, like when you were homesick from school.
Oh, I loved Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
But no, they had like this little pudgy kid who worked in the kitchen with a head chef who was like this old guy.
Yeah.
But then they had this big cinnamon toast like looking dude. I don't know. He looked like a giant cinnamon toast stick, and he just snaggle for him.
Alright guys,
Anyway.
welcome to episode 34.
Alright guys, welcome to the episode.
What are you going to talk about?
You know, I would like to talk about all the snow we've gotten.
What would you like to talk
It's
about?
ridiculous.
Are you becoming really good at snow removal?
I would say I was already decent at snow removal.
Have you looked outside tonight? Has it snowed much more?
No, I think we only got like another inch.
Good.
But I think I'm just tired of the snow removal. Like, it makes sense to me if I got to go shovel for like my elderly neighbor Adele. Like that makes sense to me. Like I get that. Like that's a good deed. I understand she needs to get out and go places. She can't be driving through snow. I was like, but for me, I'm like, I got a truck. Like I don't want to do the driveway. Like I don't want to do anything. I'm like,
if only your girlfriend had 4-wheel drive.
If only. But like I equally don't want to do the sidewalk. But you look like a terrible homeowner.
You are
neighbor.
a terrible homeowner.
Well, thanks for that.
If you do that.
Oh, which I totally did last winter.
Because then the mailman has got to truck through your snow.
Yeah,
but also I
know.
feel like the mailman probably has to go through worse places than snowy sidewalks.
Well, at least I don't have a dog chasing him.
Also, you know what I was really thinking about this the other day when we were shoveling the sidewalk was how I lucked out and never had to shovel the sidewalk before. And at first I was like, it must be because I've just lived in apartments for the last 8 years, so like it was never my responsibility to do. But then this most recent time I went home this weekend, I was like, it's also because my neighborhood doesn't have any sidewalks.
Yeah.
So like it's never even been something that crosses my mind.
No, you shovel to get out to the car.
I just assume that like just like the town sends out plows for the road, that it's also public property, the sidewalk is, so they'd also be responsible for clearing the sidewalk.
No.
Obviously that was a naive thought.
No. In fact, the plows go out of their way to dump extra snow from the street onto the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Especially after you've just shoveled it. So,
yeah, they are good at that.
It's frustrating, but it is what it is. But anyway, how was Syracuse?
Syracuse was very nice, so I went home to celebrate my grandma's birthday a little early. Happy birthday, Gram! Still early, but this Saturday's my grandma's birthday.
Oh, did she watch the YouTube videos?
Yeah.
Oh, hi Olivia's grandma.
Can I wish her happy birthday?
You just did.
Oh.
Alright, happy birthday. I just got judged.
If you're a watcher of the YouTube, you can drop a comment on the YouTube and also wish my grandma happy birthday.
I think that's a little weird.
Anyways, that was good. Made her a cake. We had ham for dinner and scalloped potatoes and corn. And yeah, that's about it.
That's about it?
Yeah, not too much.
You didn't have like a
exciting.
second course to that meal?
Nope, just the cake afterwards, and then drove her home. And then, you ever do something on a weekend and it's like you blacked out and you can't think of a single thing that happened?
I mean, I distinctly recall my weekend.
Do you? Oh, it's because you work.
Yeah, it was like I had a 12-hour work day that should have been done in 8, but things went south quick of course, the last hour of the day. Or what would have been the last hour of the day.
Me and my mom watched some TV shows. I really wanted to have her watch Schitt's Creek, but I couldn't find the very first episode, so I didn't want to just start mid-season. And then we watched some of those home remodeling shows. One was called Love It or List It, which means you should watch that one time, which is very fun to watch. And another one was called My Lottery Dream Home that I watched with my friend Danielle a couple weekends ago when I visited her. And then the other show we watched was the Gordon Ramsay cooking show, which I guess she's into these days.
Which one? He's had multiple.
The one where
Hell's Kitchen?
No, it's one where at least I think it's Gordon Ramsay, where they come in. Oh no, it's Beat Bobby Flay.
Oh, okay.
Who was some chef.
All right.
Anywho, my weekend in Syracuse was good.
All right. So, guys, before we move on to our next little thing, so Olivia's hunting for another car with four-wheel drive.
Speaking of the four-wheel drive, it'd be nice. Then Frankie wouldn't have to shovel as often. And
so, do you guys have any recommendations?
Yeah, why don't you let us know? So I'm looking for a four-wheel drive.
Or front-wheel drive.
I don't really understand that. I think I'd rather have four-wheel drive.
I mean, it is the better of all of them, but...
And then the next question is, like, in my mind, I want to get an SUV because then it seems like an upgrade from my current car, though I suppose anything with four-wheel drive would be an upgrade from my Honda Civic. But I guess I'm not... You know what I mean? Because Subaru has, like, the Impreza, which I think is a very nice-looking car that's all-wheel drive. But I just, like, I don't know, like, would it be better? Should I level up to the SUV? And if I should, what SUV should I get?
So when I hear SUV, I'm thinking of, like, a giant Buick.
See, I'm not. I'm thinking of, like, a Toyota RAV4 or, like, a Dell's Honda CR-V.
Yeah, so you're thinking a small...
Mid-size.
Yeah.
Small to mid-size.
A smaller SUV.
The thing is, they're all about the same price range. So, like, I just want to know, like, who's got one that they bought brand new and now they've got like 150,000 miles on it and that thing just keeps running? That's what I'm looking for. So that's why I'm currently leaning towards a Subaru, but I'm very open towards everybody's opinions. What do you think?
No, I think a Subaru or a Volkswagen will be the way to go.
I know, you've been really on the Volkswagen thing. How come?
Because I think their diesel motors are really good. I think they're really gas efficient. Well, diesel efficient. I just think they make really good vehicles. I mean,
don't
they
think
spit
they
out
use
some
diesel anymore because I think they got into a bunch of trouble.
Well, they still use them, but they were spitting out really bad emissions.
Yeah.
And they basically lied and said that they were like not doing that. And now I think they had to like add some part to it that curb the emissions some, but I think it affects their mileage. Yeah. But they still have really good mileage, and granted, dirty diesel's horrible for the environment, but I'm just saying, if you're getting an SUV, you might as well go with something that's going to get good mileage and some extra power.
Yeah, I guess maybe that's my other pro for the Subaru Impreza is that it is a car, so it probably gets better gas mileage. I mean, it's like the best of all the worlds, all-wheel drive, and... Did
they make the Impreza with like a hatchback?
I think so, yeah. Some of them, at least.
All right.
Anyhow, write in drandork@gmail.com or drop us a comment on YouTube or send us a DM on Instagram or just text us if you know us. Last but not least, I just finished a whirlwind of baking. I made some sugar cutouts with royal icing. Why don't you write in if you're a baker and you use royal icing? Because I just find it to be the least delicious decorative frosting.
Hold up. You said sugar cutouts? Why wouldn't you just call them sugar cookies?
Sugar cookie cutout. Well, because I cut them out. Because sugar cookies, I think of just like the Pillsbury plain circular ones. And were nice hearts for Valentine's Day.
Okay. Valid.
I prefer a good buttercream frosting if I'm going to put it on my sugar cookie, but I'm hoping to send these out, and the royal icing hardens, which makes it better for transport.
And they seem a bit more colorful.
It is very vibrant. And then I made some cutout chocolate chip cookies, which was something new. They came out pretty dry, but I bet if you dunk them in some milk, they'd still be delicious.
We'll see in a week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll
be the test of time, is will they survive a week?
That's why I gotta send them out early.
Gotta go tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Time's ticking. Day tomorrow? Oh, you got a long drive back from Hotchkiss.
Yeah. It is what it is.
Alright, next.
Do you want to go or do you want me to?
You have like 1,000 things to talk about.
So why don't you go?
Alright, I only have 2 things to talk about, but one of them's going to be rather long, and one of them's going to be rather short.
Can I go silence my work phone?
Yeah, you are excused. I'll start without you.
Alright, perfect.
So the first part of this is going to be our Rona segment, and that is just to say that it appears Johnson & Johnson has officially applied for their emergency use authorization. We'll see if they get approved. Most likely, right? I don't know, but we'll find out. Next, as promised weeks ago, I'm finally going to bring you guys an oncology segment. And today, we'll be talking about non-small cell lung cancer. Are you so excited?
One, I think oncology is a made-up word. 2, non-small cell.
No, non-small cell lung cancer.
Okay.
As opposed to small cell lung cancer. So just as like a quick what's the difference, one, the type of cells that make them up, and typically small cell lung cancer is a bit more aggressive. So your prognosis is poor. You will survive a shorter amount of time.
It means you're about to die.
It means your chances of living are not good. Anywho, so this one was about the other one, which is like minorly better. So what this looked at was a drug called pembrolizumab, goes by the brand name Keytruda. And so this was from the Keynote study done by Keytruda, and it looked essentially at patients who were on a platinum-based therapy. So for this study, I believe it was docetaxel, or and it looked at patients who failed that first line, so who've gotten this Taxol therapy, which is like Taxols, for those of you who don't know, is like more so your traditional chemotherapy, so where it goes in and it just destroys every cell in your body. And like hopefully through doing that, it also got the lung cancer cells. So it looked at patients who got that and like it just wasn't helping at all. They were still having disease progression. And then they gave either A, they continued the Taxol for 2 years, or B, they switched the patient to Keytruda, which is a monoclonal antibody, which is a more targeted therapy. And the results at 5 years were astonishing. They found that those in the pembrolizumab group had double the survival rate of those in the docetaxel group.
Okay.
Isn't that awesome?
You're using like a lot of big words right now that are just kind of going over my head.
The new treatment is better than the old treatment by double.
Okay, so I would be disappointed if it wasn't.
But by that double, so let me give you some more information just to confuse you even more, because it's all going to go over everyone's head. But that's okay, you guys. You'll get a little bit something from this, and you'll be able to use it.
I'll break it down in layman's terms after this, guys.
Okay, so the Keytruda works via the PD-L1 receptor, and essentially...
As compared to what?
So there's a receptor that basically, when the cancer cells are there, they trigger this receptor, and what it does is it destroys your immune system. So basically, usually your T cells would come in and it would try to like rescue the situation, but cancer says, nah, ain't no defense coming into this situation.
All right.
So what this drug does, it essentially gets that receptor working again to stop the T cell destruction.
Okay.
So then it allows the immune system to essentially go in and have like an anti-tumor response.
So can I like pause you for a second for something really off topic?
Sure.
Just when I heard you say T cells, like
not testosterone. Is that what you're gonna say?
No, I could be wrong, but about 99% positive that's also what they call it for Resident Evil with the zombie plague.
I don't know.
They were talking a lot about the T cells.
Anywho, the thing is about this PD-L1 receptor is that some cancer cells express it very highly and other ones express it very lowly. So you really got to go in. A lot of times they'll go in and they'll actually like take a look at the cancer and see if it is a high expressor of this PD-L1.
Okay.
And if it is, then Keytruda works extra good. So for those patients, and this is going to sound bad, but just like think of it in regular relative terms. So at 5 years, the patients in the new drug group, their survival at 5 years was 25%. Now you have to remember these are patients who already failed their first line of therapy.
Okay.
As opposed to the old drug whose survival is only 8.2%. So in this group, it actually almost tripled the survival rate.
Well,
right?
It did triple it.
Yeah.
All right, so the old drug sucked. The new drug is better.
And I didn't really go over this.
Significantly better, but still not great.
Yeah, but you know what the other thing is that I guess I should have like written down more about? But the Taxols are like wicked hard on the body. So it is like killing every cell in your body.
What was that word?
Wicked hard?
What?
On the body?
No. The Taxols?
Taxols?
Taxol?
Yeah, it's a class of chemotherapy.
Look, you're explaining this to me and people who have no clue and are listening.
I've already used the word Taxol like 10 times in this discussion.
That's how lost I was, that I've only caught it once.
Yeah, so traditional. It's a type of traditional chemotherapy.
Okay.
So there's a few different types, but that's the one where it goes in and basically it's trying to destroy all of your cells, and in doing so it hopes it also hits the cancer cells.
Okay.
So as you would expect, you usually get a lot of really bad side effects with that. Now the other one, the pembrolizumab, since it's more of a targeted therapy, and you don't get quite as much of the same adverse events. You still have side effects, and they're totally different side effects.
Targeted.
But they're usually a little different. In fact, what they usually are is a lot of autoimmune stuff. So basically, now since you're getting the immune system to work really well, sometimes the immune system like starts going berserk and it overreacts to the situation.
Okay.
Similar to like when somebody has allergies, you know, their immune thinks it's helping by producing mucus and stuff, when really it's like, we didn't really need this.
Gotcha. All right.
But yeah, that's all I have. I'm sorry I'll break down the cancer stuff a little bit better next time. But I did think that this was really promising. And if you work in oncology, especially if you are a pharmacist or a pharmacy technician and you're responsible for making your chemotherapy or your targeted treatments, you love pembrolizumab because it's one of the easiest chemotherapies to whip up. Well, cancer drugs to whip up.
Is it?
Do you know what it's like to mix up oncology things? This is so off topic, but let me break it down for you. So one, you got to have your little respirator on so you aren't getting any of the chemotherapy particles that might come up while you're compounding it. Then you got to like double up your gown, you got to put on booties, you got to put on gloves, and then your hairnet, the works. And then you can go into the negative pressure room, which basically most IV rooms have the pressure so it's pushing out of the room in order to keep the environment like as sterile as possible.
But you don't want to push
the chemo out into the world. Yeah, so it all is coming into you basically. And then you can't just use like a regular needle and like syringe to draw it up. You have to have like a closed system, so they have like these specially designed things that you attach to the vial and attach to the syringe so that at no point does the chemotherapy get exposed to the outside world.
This sounds extra ridiculous.
It's wicked expensive is what it is.
Sounds extra bougie.
But very interesting.
All right.
If you're a student and you have a chance to like watch or help out make chemotherapy, I'd highly recommend it.
All right.
For the experience.
So the old drug was terrible. The new drug is not terrible, but not great.
The old drug did what it needed to do with the technology we have available, but we are making advances in cancer therapy.
I'm not going to lie. It sounds like literally anything else might have been more effective than 8%. I think I would rather flip a $50 and bet.
You know, that's
my
the
odds.
very pessimistic things about all the cancer research is like your outcomes are progression-free survival and also outcomes at 5 years, not even like, I don't know,
20.
Survival at 10 years, yeah.
Yeah, it's just 5.
So if you're 50 and you get diagnosed, like, not good.
Not good.
But anywho, there are advances being made, so keep optimistic.
Yeah, it does sound pretty optimistic.
I'm here as your researcher telling you there's hope.
All right, guys. So this
Warning, Frankie's got about 8,000 things
we are about to go off
segment.
the deep end. I am bringing to you your Lord and Savior, Elon Musk. He will save us all.
I know you needed your Elon shirt tonight.
I'm actually about to go put that on. No, I'm just kidding. I should have worn it. As you guys saw, I'm in my pajamas. So.
Oh, I forgot you got up to the
yeah. All right, guys. So we're doing some Elon Musk stuff tonight. And by some, I mean literally everything except for one topic is Elon Musk related. So I'm going to start with Starlink. I talked about this earlier, guys. They're in about 3 months. They've accumulated roughly 10,000 customers. All right, for their internet.
Where do you have to be living to get some of this?
Anywhere.
Oh, why don't we get that then?
It's not that good yet.
Oh.
So they openly tell you it's not that good. But they're working on it.
Right.
It's a work in progress.
Sure.
So right now, though, he's getting a lot of pushback with, I believe it's the FCC. Really not the FCC pushing him back, but it's the other internet service providers, or ISPs. So, you know, Cox and Comcast and, I don't know, all the other ones that have crappy internet. Are all pushing back on him.
Cox is going to shut down your internet.
Whatever, they already messed it up out how many times. So
and they increased your bill.
and they're charging me an extra $20. But yeah, so they're all pushing back on the FCC, trying to tell them that the ISPs are pushing back on the FCC, saying that Starlink, aka Elon Musk, won't be able to provide what he says. But not like in the near future. They're talking in 8 years, or 7 technically, in 2028.
Do you think he's going to be able to do it?
Heck yeah. That dude literally owns half the satellites in space right now. Like, they're all from his company, or companies.
Alright.
But, yeah, so I think that's just kind of an interesting thing. Next, we have Elon Musk and his recent misadventures on Twitter, Reddit, and in the stock markets. This goofball tweeted about he tweeted out Wall Street Bets' address and literally got them like 3 million new followers off of a single tweet.
He also invested in GameStop himself, then,
He did. He did jump on the GameStop bandwagon for a bit. I don't know if he still is.
Mark Cuban.
Yes. There's a bunch of them actually that got on.
It's probably the actual reason why it increased, not because of any single person on Wall Street.
No. But his recent things have not been in GameStop or any of the others. It has been in Bitcoin and Dogecoin.
He's been investing in Dogecoin?
So, he literally tweeted out that, like, Dogecoin is the most fun cryptocurrency out there because it's dog.
Why?
Because it has a picture of a dog. Alright, so it's like...
And it's also only 6 to 7 cents.
Yeah. So it's like his favorite cryptocurrency, apparently. And then he followed it up by Tesla purchased $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin.
You know what, though? I think, I know it's pretty wild, but I do think that was a pretty smart thing of them to do.
Oh, yeah.
Because what if cryptocurrency does become a thing of the future? They're, right.
Well, here's the thing. It's going to. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Cryptocurrency is, the only universal income there is right now that, you can take it and go to any country and it works.
See, it's just...
it's just not widely accepted
It
yet.
makes me feel like an old lady because, it doesn't make any sense to me.
No, I have zero understanding of how it works.
And I'm sure that, a 19-year-old would be like, what is there not to understand?
So here's the thing, though. Is cryptocurrencies can't be taken from you. They have a case in Europe right now. Some dude's got $60 million in Bitcoin, and they can't get into his Bitcoin wallet to take it from him.
But the Bitcoin's only worth as much as the perceived value of it is.
Yeah, which is astronomical.
Yeah, but one day the internet could decide, it's not worth anything anymore.
Well,
that's the part I don't get.
Well, that's the same thing with the American dollar.
If everybody were to sell their Bitcoin, would this price immediately go down?
Yeah, it would crash. Here's the thing, no one's selling though. Followed up with, that's the same thing with the American dollar. The American dollar is not based off the gold standard anymore. It's based off of our credit and American faith.
Yeah.
Well, it's not even American faith. It's international faith that the dollar is what we say it is.
Sure, but when I go to the store and the price says $1, I know that my $1 bill is going to work. When I go to the store and it says $1, that might be, a 1/30th of a Bitcoin, or maybe it's going to be 1/10th of a Bitcoin. You know what I mean?
Well, here's the other thing, is the American dollar, it goes up and down all the time.
Sure, relative to everybody else, but not relative to itself.
But again, so that's based off of a single country with a standardized dollar. Yeah. Well, it's going to be the same thing with Bitcoin, except it's just a bit more volatile than the everyday dollar. Or euro, whatever you choose to use.
So, let me ask you, since you know so much about this, how much cryptocurrency do you have?
None right
Zero,
now.
because you sold your Dogecoin.
I did sell my Dogecoin. But yeah, so anyway, back to Elon Musk, yeah. They bought Tesla purchased $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. So, inadvertently, anyone who owns Tesla stock now owns a tiny bit of Bitcoin.
I guess that's true.
Kind of odd. So on the flip side of that, Tesla is also lining up to start accepting payments in Bitcoin for Tesla cars. So, yeah, you can pay them in Bitcoin for your next car.
I do find it incredibly wild, but I do think that this speaks volumes as to Elon Musk and his ability to not limit his mind. Because, like me, I'm like, it doesn't make sense to me, so therefore I don't want to do it. Yeah. I'm sure to him it still also doesn't make a ton of sense, but he's like, well, that's something I'm probably going to have to do.
Here's the thing, I argue otherwise, because you forget one big thing. He was the co-founder of PayPal.
Yeah, that's true.
He's kind of been all over this whole internet money thing for a hot minute.
That's fair.
Because PayPal has dealings with all that.
Yeah, that's true.
So...
Touche.
But anyway, so let me check some things off my list here, guys.
He's got so many, he can't keep track.
I got so many things. All right. So next, guys, we're going to go into Elon Musk's good deed of the day.
Wow, this really is all about Elon Musk.
Oh, yeah. So, you have the carbon capture contest that he started up. It starts in 2022. It will go on for 4 years. It's called X Prize. And he is offering $100 million to whoever can come up with the best carbon capture technology. You're looking at me like I'm crazy.
Define carbon capture.
Carbon capture as in getting rid of the carbon that's in the atmosphere. As in getting rid of the carbon that comes out of your exhaust pipe.
Well, why didn't you get investigating that?
Because I'm kind of stupid. Okay?
Ridiculous.
I'm kind of dumb. Alright? Like, that's like smart people's stuff. Like,
yeah.
Like, I'm handy with like a wrench. That's like handy with like, I could build a nuclear reactor in my backyard. Like, that's a different kind of smart.
Alright.
Yeah, that's not...
You need to move it on because I feel a lot of yawns coming on.
I yawned a lot early on. I'm all excited now. But yeah, guys, so the carbon capture is the thing. Starts in 2022. Keep your eyes out because we will be seeing some really good technology come out of that.
Next.
That's not even a check. What was that? You forgot to... See, that's a check. Alright. Next, guys. My favorite thing that Elon Musk has rolled out, Neuralink. So it's
Our
official.
listeners don't care. They've already heard too much about it.
That's okay. They've made advances. As of February the 7th, they have fully implanted a couple of monkeys with the Neuralink chip, and they can play video games together now. Yeah. They can play Pong. With their mind.
Are you and Matt going to get them so you guys can play video games?
Of course. Like, why get a virtual reality helmet when you can get a Neuralink and play Pong against someone?
Monkeys enjoy playing video games?
So, here's the other thing. So the Department of Agriculture, which oversees, like, the treatment of animals in testing facilities, went out there to their animal testing lab and said it is the lady that went there, and I quote, said... It was the nicest facility she had ever been to.
What does this have to do with anything?
It means,
I could not care less about how nice the facility
It
was.
means Elon Musk not only is whipping up telepathy in a
but he's
chip...
increasing the standard of living for chimpanzees.
For monkeys in testing labs, yes. It's fantastic. So not only is he a nice guy, he's a smart guy.
I will say these monkeys did win the lottery of clinical testing.
I'm just saying. He literally is giving them telepathic powers.
Some of them are probably getting these chemotherapies, but these ones just get to sit around and play video games all
with
day.
their mind. Alright? I'm just pointing this out. They can now play games with their mind. And, yeah.
We're not going to talk about random dice. That you really have that on here?
Yes.
As if I don't have to deal with you all day playing random dice.
You're done. You're cut off. So, my final thing, guys. So, that's it for my Elon Musk rant. I hadn't had one in a while, and, yeah, I'm a fanboy, so what can I say? But anyway, guys, random dice. The phone game that my buddy Demon Hunter got me hooked on. And,
thanks, Demon Hunter. I really appreciate that.
You're the best, man. So, I have been hooked on this game, and, yeah, I'm still hooked, and I'm having so much fun.
I've been playing Pop It, the bubble popping game. Equally as much fun, I would argue.
Look, it fries just enough of my brain cells to make me feel good about myself.
And you know what happened? Tetris hasn't had their nightly competitions lately.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like
lame.
They gave out all their dollars.
That's lame.
Wicked lame.
But yeah, so guys, if you haven't tried the game Random Dice or Pop It, then feel free to hop on and join us. And if you do get on, send us an email or leave us a comment or send us a text.
I haven't checked the email in a few days.
Oh my god,
so I'm
slacker.
sure millions of emails from our inbox are just clogged up.
Our millions of followers are so disappointed.
drandork@gmail.com or visit us on Instagram, Dr. and Dork.
Or visit us in real life if you know us.
Yeah, why don't you guys do that? It's been a while since we've had some visitors.
We haven't hosted anyone for dinner.
No.
So, and we have to find our next guest.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, we're only on episode 34. What do you think? You're going to say episode 40. I'm going to say episode 50.
Yeah.
So, one or the other.
Yeah, one of them.
You got anybody in mind?
No, I don't. So if you guys are interested in appearing on our pod and you want to come hang out with us, we'll feed you dinner. And I don't know.
Probably. Maybe
Yeah,
cookies.
maybe. Yeah, and some cookies. Yeah, maybe.
Maybe we could have Adele on the podcast.
Ooh, the neighbors.
It'd actually be wicked funny if she was on the podcast. Alright, that's all I got.
Alright, guys.
You got anything
No,
else?
I'm all set. I've talked you guys' ear off for like 12 minutes, so
Yeah.
kind of went on a rant there.
Okay. I felt pretty low energy this episode, guys. I'm sorry. I'll try to bring you something better next week.
I didn't. I was talking about
also,
Elon
we're
Musk.
still not using the real camera, so don't judge the quality quite yet. Though, you know, why don't you write into drdork@gmail.com and say, Olivia, you are right. The iPhone camera works just perfectly.
I mean, look, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it could be better. Alright?
Interesting.
That was my baseline. Alright, we could be using the mic on your laptop or the phone, but instead we have this nice Rode mic. Yeah. You hater. You can't just admit that it'd be nice to have a camcorder.
That's me sipping my haterade.
Alright, guys.
All right.
We'll catch you later.
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.